Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to take the huge, kind of complicated world of economics and break it all down. And we're going to start our story in a place you would probably never expect, the baby aisle of a supermarket. Yeah, seriously. We're about to go on a journey from one simple, everyday choice all the way up to the massive global forces that shape all of our lives.
Okay, let's just dive right in. It all starts with this question. Picture it. You're standing there looking at two different packs of diapers. How could that one little choice possibly have anything to do with international trade or national productivity or even how we measure human well-being? Well, it turns out it is the perfect place to start. So, our journey kicks off at the tiniest scale of the economy. Just one person making one single decision. This, right here, is where the whole story of supply and demand really begins. Now, traditional economics, it kind of assumes we're all like robots, perfectly rational people. We look at brand A, that's 40 diapers for $10, and brand B, 60 diapers for 15. We do some quick math in our heads, realize they both cost exactly 25 cents per diaper, and think, there's no difference. But is that really how people shop?
No way. Of course not. This is where behavioral economics comes in and shows us that we are all beautifully, messily human. Maybe you always grab brand A, just out of habit. Or maybe a friend swore that brand B was the best, or you saw a really convincing ad for it. And let's be honest, a lot of us have a little weakness at computation. We might just see that $10 price tag and grab it, thinking it's cheaper without ever doing the math. Our choices, they're rarely just about the numbers.
So, we've made our choice. But hold on, let's pause and zoom out for a second. How in the world did those diapers get made and end up on a shelf for just 25 cents each in the first place? I mean, that price is a modern miracle. And to understand how it's even possible, we have to go from the consumer to the company that makes them.
The answer? Well, it lies in this game-changing idea from the father of economics himself, Adam Smith. More than 200 years ago, he figured out the secret sauce of modern productivity. And it's all right here in this quote. It's not about working harder, it's about working smarter through something he called the division of labor.
And the division of labor is really just a fancy term for specialization. So instead of one person trying to make a whole diaper from scratch, a modern factory breaks the entire process down into these tiny, repeatable tasks. You've got one worker running the machine that cuts the material, another one in charge of the machine that adds the absorbent bit, and so on. Each person becomes a total expert at their one little job. But, specialization is a bit of a double-edged sword. On one hand, you get this absolutely incredible efficiency. Productivity just skyrockets, costs totally plummet, and we all get cheap diapers. But on the other hand, it creates a whole new set of problems. For the worker, doing the same tiny task over and over can get incredibly boring. And for a whole company, or even a country, specializing too much can make you really dependent and vulnerable if something bad happens in that one specific industry.
Okay, so let's go up another level. We've got millions of us consumers making kind of irrational choices and millions of specialized producers making all this stuff. So how does it all work, without some central planner telling everybody what to do?
The answer is the price. Yeah, that little price tag is one of the most powerful communication tools ever invented. It's like the conductor of a giant invisible orchestra, sending out signals to absolutely everyone in the economy.
And prices do three really critical jobs. First, they signal information. If the price of diapers suddenly shoots up, that's a signal to companies that, hey, people want more diapers. Second, they create an incentive. That high price gives producers a reason, profit, to make more. And third, they ration. If there's a shortage of something, the higher price makes sure that the limited supply goes to the people who are most willing to pay for it. It's this amazing self-organizing system.
All right. We are ready for the final zoom out. This whole idea of specialization, it doesn't just apply to one person in a factory. It applies to entire countries. And that is how our little decision about diapers connects to the entire global economy.
This is what we call globalization. It's basically taking that idea of specialization and blowing it up to a global level. Just like it's more efficient for one worker to focus on one task, it can be more efficient for Brazil to focus on growing coffee, for Germany to focus on building cars, and for another country to focus on making the raw materials that go into diapers. Then they all trade with each other, creating this huge interconnected web.
And this global system, it didn't just pop up overnight. It was built, piece by piece. Back in the 70s, the simple invention of the steel shipping container made moving stuff around the world dirt cheap. Then in the 90s, the internet came along and made managing a global supply chain possible from a laptop. And you had organizations like the World Trade Organization working to bring down the political barriers to trade. Every single one of these steps made our world more connected.
So, we've gone from a single diaper to the massive shipping docks, from the inside of one person's mind to the entire global market. But all of this brings us to what is maybe the most important question of all. What's the point? Why are we doing all of this? Is it really just about making more stuff more cheaply?
To answer that, economists and policymakers realized we have to look beyond just dollars and cents. A country's success isn't just about its economic output, and that's exactly why the Human Development Index, or HDI, was created. Think of it as a more complete scorecard for how a country is really doing for its people.
So what the HDI does is it gives equal weight to three core things. It doesn't just look at living standards or income. It balances that with health, which is measured by how long people are expected to live, and education, measured by how many years people go to school. This gives us a much, much richer picture of human well-being. It reminds us that the whole point of all this complicated economic activity isn't just growth for the sake of growth, but to help people live long, healthy, and educated lives.
So there you have it. From one choice about diapers, we've basically unraveled the entire story of our global economy. It just goes to show you that economics isn't some distant, abstract force. It's a system that we all build every single day with our habits, our work, and our choices. Which leaves us all with one final question to think about. Knowing all this, how will we choose to shape it for the better?